Hello and welcome to the steute how-to video series. With these videos we want to support you in the setup and installation process of our products. This video today is about programming a wireless switch and a receiver to transmit and monitor a status signal, which is a regular transmission of the actual switching state. For my demonstration, I have prepared a battery-operated RF96 wireless switch and a 4S receiver. First of all, we teach the switch to the receiver. That means we marry the two together. To do this, briefly press the Learn button and the receiver goes into coupling mode. Theoretically, we can now program the switch to 4 different relay outputs. However, we want to monitor the status signal next. This blocks the 4th relay on the receiver, so we will leave it at the first output. To teach it in, it is enough to simply activate the switch. The first LED lights up briefly, the switch has been recognized and taught to relay output 1. We can leave coupling mode again by briefly pressing the Learn button again. A quick test: the switch is correctly connected. Next, we will program the status signal. First, we want to set the receiver to monitor the status signal. To program, we will use the flow chart from the assembly instructions. We want to set the status monitoring with a 10-second timer and are looking for the path we need to follow on the flow chart. We find the status monitoring under the operating mode function and can then choose between 10, 100, 1000 or 10,000 seconds. In order to be able to follow the programming sequence, we need to understand now how we move in programming mode. If I press the Learn button for at least 1 second, I move to the right. If I press it briefly for around 0.2 seconds, I move down. Translated into the programming of the status signal monitoring, this means that in operating mode we have to go to the right once, then we have to go down to level 4, then right again to select the time interval, then down to 10 seconds, and then right again to save the configuration. That's what we'll do now. To start programming mode, we press the Learn button for 10 seconds until the MD LED flashes quickly. We are now in the programming sequence and in the first mode, operating mode. The first LED shows us this. It flashes once each. Now we want to go to the right, so press the Learn button long. Again, the first LED flashes once each. Now we want to go down, so press the Learn button briefly. The LED now flashes twice, down again 3 times each time, and down again. Now it flashes 4 times each time. So we are now correctly at status monitoring. Now we want to go to the right to select the monitoring interval. So press the Learn button long. Single flash mode. Status monitoring off. But we want to select 10 seconds, so go down. Press briefly once. The LED flashes twice. That's what we want. 10-second interval. We now want to save this state. That means we have to go to the right once, so a long press on the Learn button. Now the first LED and MD light up twice at the same time. Programming is saved and the receiver automatically goes back to normal operation. Let's see if that works. We have now set the receiver to monitor a status signal every 10 seconds. However, the switch is not yet sending a status signal. The receiver should now issue a warning after 20 seconds at the latest. This switches relay 4. Which I have connected to the right hand light here. We see relay 4 is activated. If I activate the switch now, relay 4 goes off again because the receiver has now received a signal from the switch. Now we program the switch so that it actually sends a status signal every 10 seconds. This can also be done using the programming matrix. We'll look at the flow chart and see that setting the status signal on the switch is mode 3. To the right of this, the second sub-item is status signal every 10 seconds. Translated into movement, we first have to go down to mode 3, then right to interval, then one field down to 10 seconds, and then right again to save the configuration. We'll do that now. We press the learn button again for 10 seconds until we get a quick flashing. We are automatically in mode 1, operating mode. But we want mode 3, to press the learn button briefly and briefly again, and the first LED will flash in triple mode. Now make a long press to go to the right to select the interval. Now once briefly again to go to 10 seconds, and then long press to go to the right to save. LEDs 1 and MD will flash twice together again, and the receiver will switch back to normal operating mode. The programming must now be passed on from the receiver to the switch. However, this only happens when the two communicate with each other. So we have to activate the switch once and the programming will be transferred. From now on, it sends a status signal every 10 seconds and the monitoring relay 4 on the receiver remains off as long as the receiver receives the status signal every 10 seconds. We have now set both the switch and the receiver to send or monitor the status signal every 10 seconds.